When I speak to my clients in the clinic, then I often use quotes, inspirational quotes, and so on from different movies. And I want to share with you some of my gems about these quotes, because some of them, they really give good meaning to many things. And one of my good movies that I use is a movie from year 2000 called Bedazzled, with Elizabeth Hurley and Ben Fraser. And it's quite funny. It's a movie where she plays the devil herself, and she's a quite good-looking girl in that movie. Very, very tight cat suit, red leather thing. It's interesting to look at, to say the least. And she plays an awesome role there. They both really do a good one. And the plot is that Ben Fraser, he is a lowlife. You know, he doesn't have all the success he wants. He wants more in life. He wants to do something. He wants better. He wants up. He wants out. He wants to have more, do more. And everything, it doesn't work out for him. So what he one day gets an offer. They meet, and there's this hot woman who offers him a chance of a new life, like really great life, big everything. He can have whatever he wants. He just have to sign, you have to sign the contract. But when you sign a contract with the devil, could be that there was something in that contract with the small letters that you didn't really care to read about. Anyway, movie goes on. It's a very funny movie. And the thing is that at one point he wants, but I want so many things, and I want everything in life. I want everything in life. And then the devil says, you can't have everything. Where would you put it? Honestly. And if you think about that, you can want everything, but you can't have it. Because where would you put it? There is limits to everything in life. There's limits on how much you can sleep, how much you can eat, how much you can drink, how many beds you can sleep in, how many toilets can you sit at one time, right? More doesn't always equal happiness. Think about that. Remember when he was very young, my son, he really had this deep desire. And we talk about when he was 6, 7, 8 years old. He was like, Dad, I want everything. I really want everything. And I said, what do you mean? Yeah, because all the telephones, the fancy phones, the TVs, the bikes, the Xboxes, I want everything. And I said to him, honestly, where are you going to store it? I don't care. I buy a big hall and I put it there. I said, you're going to work so much that you won't have time to enjoy everything. Yeah, but Dad, I really want everything. Of course, you can't have that. You can wish for it. Well, that's one of them. The second one in the movie, Ben is this boy who signed the contract. He's like, every time, and that's one of the plots in the movie, every time he wishes for another wish, of course, the she-devil, she grants it to him. That's the deal. That's the contract. But for some cheeky plot, it always goes bad. It always goes haywire, down the drain bad for him. Some way, like crazy. So the next thing that is always like, he's so discouraged. He's so discouraged. And then he's like, hey, that's not fair. And she looks back at him. Fair? I'm not supposed to be fair. I'm the fucking devil. And he's like, whoa, okay. And then she says, you know what? Life is not fair. And that's what makes it so interesting. Think about that. Life's not fair. That's what makes it so interesting. You need to accept that life's not fair. Life is a struggle. Can you look at your birth certificate or your passport and then say, dear you, life is fair, life is good, life is easy. Is that what you want? Is that really? Yeah, but I want an easier life. Yeah, but how will you build up resilience, strength, and power if everything has to be fair or easy? So I always talk about it in this way, that if you go to the hospital, you have been sick, they connect you to a heart monitor, bing, bing, bing. You can hear the heartbeat going there. Would you prefer that life goes up and down, or would you like to go beep? What would you prefer, being at the hospital or anywhere? The beep, that's dead. So if you don't build up resilience, then you will always be a victim. You need to be strong. You need to be fucking strong. Go out there, fight for it. Don't expect it to be fair. Drop the victim mindset just once. It's not fair for me. No, life is not fair. Okay, next one. And this is very important, because there's so many things we want in life. There's so many things we want to experience. There's one thing we want to have. But the lesson here is what the devil says again. The things you want in life are often the things you already have. The things you really want the most. You have it already. And you say, no, because I want this, and that, I don't have it. But are you blind? Are you blind to abundance? Are you not having the right perspective? Do you want out of egoism? Do you want out of selfishness, so you can prove to people you don't care about that I'm better than you? So what is it you're trying to prove here? Right? You need to learn to show gratitude if you really want to excel in life. And I'm talking about the small things in life. At one point, one of my children was going through a very difficult time for her. And I said to her, you know what, honey? It just started. You need to build up resilience and strength in times of peace, like a military does, like a country does, like a company does. We build up strength, whatever that means: financial, military power, physical body power, health, in times of peace, so you can be resilient, so you can be strong in times of war, trouble, or crisis. So if you don't show gratitude, how can you do that? And I told my daughter, listen, when you go to bed at night, I want you to think, thank you. Feel the blanket, feel the bed, feel the warmth. Say thank you for the smallest things in life. Be grateful, really, honestly grateful. So what you do is that you really go through that, everything in life, meet some person at work, family, friends, whatever, and you say, appreciate what you did for me, thank you. What it teaches your body, it goes really, there's so many other people who talk about manifestation and all these things. You manifest gratitude. Gratitude builds up a visual thing so you can feel you have more. When you feel you have more, you start building up to be stronger and better, right? So there's so many aspects of this one. It's about mindset of what is abundance. Because I want 10 bedrooms. I want a house with 10 bedrooms. Yeah, but you can only sleep in one bed at night, okay? I can only drink one of my favorite monsters, one at a time. and there's a limit to how much I actually can drink. Same thing. Next one, number 4. She says, because he's so pissed at everything there. He's so pissed. So he's like, why don't I get what I really want when I want it? And then she says, it's not what you wish for, it's how you wish. And you know, it's a very good metaphor for the intention, the clarity, and the unconscious self-sabotage that you bring to life. You can't go like we started. You can't have everything. What is everything? Do you want all the water in the world? Do you want all the mountains, the stones in the world? What is it that you want? No, I just want everything. I have heard that from a business associate of mine once. I want all the money in the world. You can't have it. It doesn't exist. And then if you think of certain, shall we call them politicians, who are very greedy, or business people, or whatever you want to call them, like, the saying is, there's not enough in the whole world for one man's greed, but there's enough for every man's need. So do you really want to sit and be like the King Croesus, who, you know, he wanted to, everything he touched wanted to become gold? And now I can be the richest man in the whole world. I can just touch something and I can turn it into gold. Fantastic, right? How rich would you be? You know what happened to him, according to the fairy tale? He touched his only child. That child turned into gold. How goddamn lucky are you then? Your greed turned your child into a statue of gold. Okay, I get it. Sometimes that would be easier to have a statue than a real child, but the pleasures, they outweigh any amount of gold than a good child can do for you. So you need to really wish with intention. What is it? Why is it I want this? If you don't have your why correct, you will self-sabotage yourself. Like, I love the book. I really like it, from Simon Sinek, the inspirational speaker. Start with why. Why do you wish for this? Why do you start this company? Why do you want a life partner? Why do you want to visit that place, do this, create that? Why do you want this? Why? Get your why straight, and you will know with intention and with clarity what to wish for. That's the only way you can get it, because now you have clarity and you won't need to self-sabotage yourself. It's so important for you. I promise you, it's really important, right? The last one here I want to emphasize is, like she says it so great in that movie, right? It is, every choice you make has consequences, even the good ones. How awesome is that? And I raised 3 children on that principle. I said to them, no matter what you do, I don't care. Everything has consequences. If you do something good, it has good consequences. If you do something bad, it has bad consequences. Yeah, but I want, and blah, 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 blah. Children are like mocking about these things. I said, but that's life. Until you realize and accept that fact, every choice has consequences, even the good choices, right? If you do something shit for others, I bet you something shit's gonna happen back to you. So what this does, it teaches you responsibility. I want to be the richest man in the world, yeah. But then you're gonna be surrounded by a lot of poor people who has nothing. Do you think they wanna be your friend? Do you really think they want to go and please you? Yeah, a few will kind of kiss your ass. So what? What can you use it for? How can you enjoy if you're the only one in the whole world who has everything? Who are you going to share it with? You cannot buy friends, real friends. You can't buy love. You can't buy real love. You can buy cold love. Well, there's a whole industry for that. but you are not getting loved. It's simply a choice that you will have to do something with intention so that people around you will want to be with you. You cannot pay them. A few for a time, but believe me, they will leave you. So that responsibility is on you, and you cannot give it to anyone else. It teaches you how to mature. It teaches you how to become an adult. And adulthood has absolutely nothing to do with age, because it's maturity. I have met people at 18 who's way more mature than other people at 50, because they are dumber than a pile of rock. You see, when you think about this consequence thing, it also teaches you a lot about conscious living. What I do here, will that benefit only me, others? Can we be nice to each other? Can we do these things so everything gets a little better? So the movie Bedazzled is one of my good movies. It's one of them that I really like to discuss and use as inspirational quotes. Now I told you a little bit about it. And I would be seriously interested to hear some of your favorite movies or quotes, life quotes that brings you something. It's very inspirational, and sometimes it awakens new things in your head. You know, you feel like, oh, it would be so nice to do that or this, or I can learn from that wording in that sequence was very good. Please share that with me.